Everybody, homework here at PXF Paradigm Review Show. Technically, still Paradigm Review Show. I don't know that this is going to be an in-depth review of the film, but it'll definitely be an in-depth interview with director, writer Loren Lepre. You guys have seen him on the show before, but back to the homework I've given you guys. Although, guys, we might just be like producing this show to ourselves today because it's obviously not our usual day. So we'll give everybody 20 minutes to remember we moved from Saturday to Sunday for this all-day weekend. But that being said, first and foremost, I think Ross Warlord was a holdover for last show. I'll be Ross X this time, really creative. You guys have heard that I'm one of two executive producers on Camera X2 KAP file, out now free on Tubi. We'll just start with the basics. First and foremost, I want everybody to go to Average Superstar TV. The channel link will be below in the description. And from there, I want you guys to like and share the Camera X trailer. Again, nothing that we're going to advise you guys for involves a paywall or anything that is not going to be free. So ideally, like and share the trailer. Please subscribe to Loren's channel. And then a little bit more officially, if you can bounce over, what up, Slipknot? If you can, Slipknot, your homework assignment. I'm waiting on your Camera X review, so let me know how that goes, bud. Don't worry, I'm going to put everybody else at the same standard. But Tubi, Gaz, we'll talk to you about. I don't know if how you got around it. If you guys found Tubi out there in the UK,
we've got it, so it was no problem.
Me and Loren are lowly Americans, so we'll have you handle that part. But tubi.tv, the link is in the description, and then we want you to go over there. Camera X, we want you to watch list it and also leave it a like. That helps us bump up in the ratings, the recommendations. And then if you're feeling really saucy, you can shoot on to IMDb. And I know this is pretty difficult, guys. They're going to have to click those stars, which mean a review. And there's 1 through 10. It might take 10 or 20 seconds. And on the internet, that's asking a lot, right? So you guys are,
taxing.
20. Yeah, dude, it's hard work. It's hard work over here at PXF, right? It's
strenuous, man.
It's a working man's channel. You're going to take 20 seconds out of your day, and you're going to review Camera X
for the working man.
If we get crazy, you might even write us a 1 or 2 sentence review of what you actually thought of the film. That's just if we're going out of control here. So I think that wraps up a lot of the main subject of the day. Gaz and I have John Wick Chapter 2 next Saturday, regular schedule, followed by A Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick classic, Malcolm McDowell career performance, the 28th. So I think what we're going to do here is play the trailer, and then we will bring in our guests. So let me see if I can figure out the sorcery of this internet, guys. It's been beyond us for a few decades, but I think we might.
Yeah, we're kind of stuck in prehistoric times, aren't we?
I think we'll get this going. So can we just, I don't know if we could just play it like without us, but this will suffice. Don't flag this for piracy, Loren, on your channel. Go ahead, guys.
I'll tell you, I'll stop I know how we do. Yeah, it's all right. Sorry.
We're carry on. All right, so.
Ian, we good?
Yeah.
Ian, we're good?
Yeah, it's cool.
All right.
Hop over, give this a like and a sub over on Average Superstar.
My name is Laddie Harris, and I'm about to go kill a pedophile.
We're here live in Voorhees, where authorities have just found another child's body.
My name is Katrina Ford, and I'm about to go kill a pedophile.
The locals are outraged and the tempers are high right now, as the local suspect is not in handcuffs.
My name is Ian Bates. I'm a 23-year-old film student, and I'm docking this film.
My name is Brady Lloyd, and I'm about to take the life of a pedophile.
My name is Amelia Carey, and my sister was raped and killed when she was 9 years old.
So the purpose of this movie is to show the people how wrong our system really is. All of us here suffered from people like Nick Brandon.
When are we going to break into his house?
Tomorrow.
We have 3 cameras set up. They're on at all times. You, the viewer. When this is all said and done, you make up your minds if we should be in jail or not. We are not cheating the public. We face the music and march right into the police station when this is all said and done. We show them everything, and we confess to it all. I just want to walk into the police station as is. I don't want to cheat the public.
I quit. I don't want to do this anymore.
You're not quitting, Ian. Ian, I gotta get you behind that camera. We gotta finish it.
I just want to go home.
No. You don't get to go home from this shit. None of us do.
I will have no remorse for any of my actions.
We're gonna get you, Nick.
When this is done, even if I get life, I'll gladly do the time knowing that somebody like Nick Brandon cannot harm another child.
There we have it, folks. Go get on over to Loren's channel, Average Superstar TV. Give that a like and a share, and go check out the Dark Military and Dark Military Road.
This is Democracy
over there. Sorry about that. The YouTube just it went out of control. That's got a little off topic there. Okay. Anyway, without further ado, let's bring in the man himself. The man, the myth, the legend, Loren Lepre, writer, director, star, Laddie. How you doing, Laddie?
Well, hello. Thanks for having me on.
Very welcome, man.
He's been on before. I think we were, what were we talking? I think we were talking Rogue last time we had you on. So one of our PXF actor interviews.
No, Rogue was the time before we did the almighty Roadhouse.
Oh my God! I forgot you were on the review with us.
How can we forget?
Yes, since I'm a professional at Roadhouse, the only one that matters from 1989. So,
yeah. Chief horror correspondent of PXF here, Loren Lepre, actually joined us for Roadhouse, the smash action, masterpiece in our opinion, our humble opinions over here. Back on topic. So you've been doing the media run, Loren. You've been crushing it. A lot of good interviews out. So go check out Loren's feeds on Facebook and check out everything he's doing. Brought up some of the actors and stuff. You and me are EPs, Loren, so I thought it was a little bit too self-serving to say, hey, yeah, me and Loren clearly funded the film, and this is awesome, and this is why. Gaz has some good questions for you. I figured the more interesting conversation would be about production. I know you guys hit editing hell. I figured we could deep dive that with you, but I guess wherever you want to launch off, if you have an intro, obviously we're telling people to go watch the film and stuff like that. Whatever else you're up to, Loren, and where they can find you.
Sure. So yeah, everybody, as this said, the movie took a while to be released because of its subject matter. There was a lot of doors closed in our face, and it was just kind of like, hey man, thank you, but we're gonna pass. And I'm like, these are like on emails. So if I knew a lot of these people personally, somebody like, I'm gonna call them. And that's when you get the real scoop because they can verbally. It's like, yeah, man, they go, there's going to be pushback with this. It could be harder to get on the actual outlets. They were just like, because believe it or not, you can't say like to kill Ross or to kill Jack in any way that's threatening. So that includes, you can't make a movie called Kill a Pedophile. So I had to come up with a substitute name, which was Camera X, because you watch the movie, there's like camera A, camera B, and then once in a while this camera X comes up. You're like, why is this here? This doesn't even look like it belongs here. Something's off. So I basically have to call the movie Camera X. But every time I talk about it, I always say that saying to kill it, So that's really what I want to call it. And I wanted this movie to get attention quick. And it did. The trailers did good. The teaser trailer to the trailer. You get listen, anything that comes negative, I could, even from Dark Military to PA Hardcore, I knew in a second, literally before what anyone else was going to say, like, here's the areas of what people aren't going to like and what they're going to say. I'm bulletproof with that. I'm just like, you're either built for this or you're not. When you see a director of making any content at all, if they can't handle it and they're running the internet and responding to everything, you don't belong here. Like you're not battle tested. So this film, like Pennsylvania Hardcore is a documentary on all the punk and hardcore bands for like at that time for the last 30 years. And then all of a sudden I come over here to the Dark Military. I start off my horror movie franchise with that, right into Dark Military Rogue. And then now I'm over here on the found footage reality TV. And it's like, I don't like doing, if you notice, I don't like sticking to a format. I kind of like going up to the buffet and be like, what's over here? All right, these are meats. Where are the veggies over here? Okay, where are the desserts over here? Like, you're not going to keep sticking with the meats. I'm like, maybe I'll get back to the meats, but I want to get over to the veggies now, you know? So found footage films have always, for me, I found them fascinating. I've said this a few times in a few other interviews. I got to say it again, but when I see Bruce Willis, I see the guy from Die Hard. I see the guy from Pulp Fiction. In my eyes, I go all the way back to Moonlighting. You know, I'm like, that's who I see. No matter what role they're doing, that's who I see. I see that. When you see a found footage film, I don't know these people. I've always just found, from the best to the worst found footage or reality TV movies, just I don't know them. I'm a little more intrigued. Like I'm a little more to pay attention to detail, everything that's come out of their mouth. What's the story here? I was always drawn to doing one. And I said, no, I'm going to give this a shot. And I believe we're just in current time of 2026. The shock value's up. That's what everybody wants. They want more violence. You know, this is like if you were before Terrifier, I think was you had to watch how much blood or you weren't even going to get distribution. Now it's like the floodgates open, let it go. So I figure let's twist it over here. This is a subject matter that bothers me. I don't have children, but yet I hate everything that's going on in the world with, you know, from the Epstein file. We'll go with that. You know, everything going forward. So I wrote this about 3, maybe 4 years ago, and I was getting ready to shoot this thing. And I remember the cast, the crew and the cast who I was going to ask to be in this. Literally a week before, I went and I got advice from a few other people, and they were just like, "Can I ask what your budget for this is and budget for that?" And then they're like, "Are you right up against the wall? Like you have no backup money at all?" And I was like, "Yeah." I kind of did that with the first Dark Military too. I was kind of like right there, and if the floodgates broken, I was going to have to just drown my credit cards. And they're like, "Did you consider this and this?" And I was like, "Yep, the gate just broke." I was like, "All right, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to scrap this, shove this script aside for a while." So, thank God I had somebody like Ross to help me come in on this. Thank you so much. And the rest was just working overtime at my job. So this was like 100% like Ross's money, my money. It'd be cool if we get some profit, but if we both don't get anything, it's like, it's okay to let this water go a little bit, you know, but we're going to push this here. And one thing cool about found footage, they're a lot cheaper to make. And another cool thing about found footage I found is not that I was deliberately letting anything go, but if the volume drops a little bit, like I don't need ADR. It's a found footage film. It don't matter, you know, like
more leeway, more
there's
runway.
some technical stuff out of the way. And that's why, you know, I'm not giving really anything away in the movie. You haven't seen it, but you know, there's a montage music video where you kind of see because there's 2 filmmakers there setting up the lights. Like we're letting you know, like when the camera pans, like you see lights. It's not like, oh, that's a film error. No, these are 5 people that don't know what they're doing. The character wise, like we're announcing, yeah, this place is lit because they're trying to make a best movie, as much as it's a bizarre mission what they're trying to accomplish. But I thought it was just cool. It's like we never have to worry about, because you always got to worry about, you know, the lights and frame, move it, you know, like no
background.
Yeah. So what was really cool about this movie was the day before, you know, you get the gaffer over and he sets everything up, and like of course you got to adjust it a little bit for each scene, but it was just like predominantly a couple rooms, and like you're just ready. You're just going in for performances. It was just like, we're done over here, everybody shift over here. So it was cool. Like Dark Military Rogue was just only a couple days, but reality it was just like one scene in a house and the rest is all outside. This was I would say the floodgates did pretty good until Wednesday. So we filmed one full week, I'd say around Wednesday. And so, Wednesday's kind of when we got outside and it was hot. We got to travel a little more. That's where, you get your film hiccups. But, everything that needed to happen happened thanks to the cast and crew.
Absolutely.
So, given that this is a difficult subject matter, Loren, sadly, it's something that's appeared in the news long before the current scandal.
Yep.
Was this one of your most challenging roles as an actor?
This was my hardest role as an actor. I'll tell you why, because I always thought, the Loren formula, he's the bad guy. And bad guy roles are just natural to me. I don't even feel like I'm acting. I was always drawn to being the other side, like being the leader, being the one the crowd's going to root for. This was difficult script for me to absorb, no matter how much time I was practicing my lines, and I'm the freaking writer. It just wasn't registering the way I wanted. I actually paid to have a teleprompter there for everybody. Like anybody that was struggling, I probably the one that used it the most. But what was established was just like, just teleprompters, like go. Did everything need to be said word for word, between me and anybody else? No. But it's kind of weird because Barabbas, I was so gun-ho with that role. Like I just knocked it out of the ballpark. I could have played every role in Dark Military. That's how but keep in mind, I rewrote that script 19 times. So it's like, I know what was coming up next. I guess it was just really like having the teacher right there the entire time, because like you're practicing, you're doing your timetable so many times. There's no way you're not going to learn. But this was a harder role. I felt, be honest, at moments I felt a little bit like exposed a little bit, and I also felt like I knew what I was getting into between all 5 of us with those actors, but I feel the movie takes off once the music video kicks in, because but that beginning part is a very important to get most of the backstories of who they are, what they're doing. But I would understand at the very beginning if people are a little bit like when we get moving here, I understand that, and that was hard between writing that and then also one of the cast members who was the editor, Brian Emmerich. We're trying to look away, like, well, how can we speed this up? But like, we can't speed this too much because we cut this out. There's a gap in the movie. So that's part of your editing hell. When I say there's editing hell, yeah, was there editing hell? Sure. But there was editing hell in every movie I've ever done. And I don't think there is smooth editing. It's just like things happen. You hit hiccups that are just like, why is this not rendering right? Everything is right in the timeline. Why is it not there's so much stuff when it comes to editing. But it's kind of funny. It's like you're happy you got all your parts, and you're happy like I could tune everybody out. It's just me and the computer at my own pace. But that's stressful. The stress that never ends. It just never ends
until the computer works against you. It's very like Loren got through the shoot. He got all the dailies, and like in your mind, it's like, well, I shot the film, so I'm good. And then it's almost like editing is a whole nother beast, like, okay, how does this go into?
Yeah. Cause it's like, I took, I just took a 1080 file and I made within a week, a rough cut of, I didn't edit the movie on 1080, but the real files, that was all shot on 4K. So, but Brian and I edited on the 4K files, but I made Brian, here's what I'm going for. Like, we're going to watch this, each scene, and then kind of, tighten things up. And, and then, of course, when you have a second set of eyes after, Brian's would be like, why are we tying it in like this? And he'd be like, watch this. And then I'd be like, more than half the time, I get you. And then other times, like, all right, Brian, I don't think you understand what I'm trying to do with the scene here. Like, no, keep it the way it is. So Brian and I flowed very good off of each other. But Brian has to work for a living too. And there were times like, I threw him extra money. There was times where I love the guy. He took work off. Like, I can't leave this computer. I'm calling out of work. And he's not getting anything out of this. So it's like Brian's the unsung hero with me. It was also cool that Brian at the time lived not even 5 minutes away. So compared to what I was used to before with PA Hardcore, I left South Jersey to go to Philly, which is only 10-minute ride, but I had to go to get into Philly. Then I had to worry about parking to go to Woodshop Films to meet Andrew to edit PA Hardcore. So when he got burnt out and I'd go back. So like I'm paying a bridge toll. Sometimes I had to pay to park. Yep. And then my editor in the Dark Military was 20 miles away. So I would drive 20 miles to his house. And then when you're done, you're driving 20 miles back. So Brian coming to my house, I was just like, yeah, this is good. With the laptop. Like,
every time.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel bad because it's like, I could edit, but I don't feel comfortable like enough to be fully on my own. There's just something about it. I don't feel the adventure of, editing a podcast is like, like that's nothing, but doing a movie, I just feel still, I like to have somebody with me. Top of it all, I feel good with just having a second set of eyes there,
Maybe see something
Yeah, 100%. Any follow-ups, guys?
Yeah, I do a couple of things. I do think Brian was definitely a standout in the movie. I'm going to try my best to avoid spoilers, but I shall just say his acting in playing a role within a role, and that's as much as I'll say, was very, very good. I liked the transition that he did. The citizen kind of documentary approach that you've done with Camera X definitely gives it that real world feel. The music part, yes, I agree, Lauren, that's where the film starts, but you get the build up, you get the backstory. Laddie there's a bit of a similarity with Barabbas from Dark Military, where they're both pragmatic, they are both focused, and they've got this razor-like discipline on their goal. Laddie often, is keeping everybody in focus. He's like the linchpin, keeping everybody together. And what's interesting, Lauren, is as a viewer, is you see the different dynamics within the group. Katrina, obviously suffering PTSD, very angry, what quickly wants to get to action. She I said this to Ross off air, she actually reminded me a little of Navia's character in the Spartacus series and later seasons, how the trauma that she'd been through affected her. So I liked seeing that different dynamics, and I think using that citizen approach, as you say from the outset of the film, we want the audience to make up their mind. This is what we're doing. So you provide people with the reason for these characters meeting and them to come together. Using the music as well, I can't resist this. I'm going to ask it. The hardcore, my ears immediately just perked up. Now, hardcore's, very boots on the ground music. Do you think that, in your opinion, that helps solidify that real world feeling as well?
I thought you're talking about the hardcore track.
Yeah. Right? When you see that in the music video, you see people hanging out.
Even in the background, like when they were, trying to basically have a couple of drinks and kind of be human, like the humanize, like, hey, we're not going to get to
exactly.
We're all going to be in jail soon. I felt in found footage, they need a breakup, and that was my idea for kind of like 1.5 videos, if not really spoiling, but like you see what I was trying to do there of breaking things up, because it is hard. One thing about found footage, starting with the Blair Witch Project, which I love, but I have not seen the Blair Witch Project since I saw it in the theater with everybody else, because when I watched the Blair Witch Project, had to do this. I would watch, and then I would be like this, and be like, all right, I know what's going on. I cannot watch shaky cam because I will get motion sickness. So when they were running through it, and I said, that is not happening at all in Camera X. So that's why you saw Laddie or anybody's character, you would see them holding the camera, and then you would see who they're speaking to. Well, the DP really went behind them where the tripods were. So the DP was really shooting it and making it look good, and what that took out all the motion sickness. And that was the one thing I was going to be like, we're going to be a lot more crisp on, because I understand when people run away from shaky cams. That was another thing. And then like you said, the music, I'm always going to put in every one of my movies, not force it in there, but if I get a chance to get the bands in there, Willie Bates and the Bad News Crew, No Redeeming Social Value, Animal House again. Like I will always try to do my, you know, hat tip to where I came from. And that's always going to be, and I feel that's kind of good because I feel like that keeps the movie rolling, you know, because it's kind of weird because like when I watched the first Dark Military, there's two Lorens that watch it. I have to say it's a split. I'm proud I made that, and look at this. It's with all the people at the time that I loved. It was a little bit of everybody's world, the worlds around me, and I was like, I brought all them in. These are the people that helped me. But you know, after that movie, groups grow apart. Some people actually become your enemy and stuff. So it's like I watched that proud a lot of times, and other times like I could put it on, and like after 8 minutes, I don't see the characters. I see the people that I don't want to see, and I have to turn it off. You know, it's like crazy. So it's like you got to also. So when I'm watching Camera X, you know, the beginning establishing characters, you just get. It's kind of like Magnolia. It's kind of like way better acting, a way better movie. But Magnolia, it's like you have to watch all these characters to learn who they are and why they're doing it. Get to that music video to now, right? The movie starting. And it was very important for those 5 characters to not be similar, and they are not. All 5 of those characters are standalone. They all have their own stories. Majority of them were actually molested, and the other 2 were, you know, had something horrible happen to another family member. Because I thought it would have been insane for all 5 of them to have been molested. I'd be like, that's I thought that would have been overkill.
Yeah,
you know,
it succeeds though in presenting that real world concept, Loren, because if you skipped the opening and say showed that to somebody who knew nothing about it, you know, just literally paused on TV, they would think that they are immersed in an actual documentary, that this is some people here talking about very sensitive issue, trauma that's happened to them, as you said, the reasons that they met, why they're going to do this. And that really comes across, and it's almost like you forget that you're watching a film. It does have that complete immersion. There's that, and that continues throughout the film and is often reinforced. As you said, with the characters, Amelia, you know, she's reluctant to be there. The guy, filmmaker for the first time, kind of, what am I getting into? There's those different dynamics are there, and you establish those relationships and the bonds between the characters. So that is a really good way, I'm not stroking your ego here, but that is a really good way to draw in the audience. I just wondered as well, Loren, I noticed one of the overhead drone shots on one scene where it cut back to the house was really well done. For those that don't know, could you tell us a little bit about some of the locations where you shot it?
So there's 2 parts with the drones. The DP, Tom Scholl, a great guy. Tom was with me from when I was doing my film festivals. So I ran 26 film festivals out of Philly. Might be coming back. We'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge if we actually get there. But I've been getting the itch, and I got an idea where I currently live to possibly bring it back, and also bring it back in Philly and Hershey, like 2 hours away. But we'll get to that. But Tom, if anybody goes to my channel, Average Superstar TV, I had a camera guy, you know, covering it, and I would make a quick 5-8 minute scissor reel of the event, so all the filmmakers have something, you know, to show the public, and something for the filmmakers. Hey, they got interviewed and this and that, and obviously advertising for my next film festival. But Tom, he had some stock footage, which was good, which like over the river and all that. That was all like Tom had all that cool. But Tom also, I picked the locations where I was just like, these people need to walk. You need to see a little bit of a unity. And also, when majority of this is in a house.
Yeah.
People's attention span, like, get them out. Let's get them around. Like, what's, you know, there's a lot of, like, the movie is a lot of about, we're prepping to kill this person, and here's why we hate this person. Here's what we got on this person. But they're in a house. I got to get these people out to get moving. So I thought some drone shots would just help break it up again, like the videos and stuff. I tried to look at something like a business. Like, you could just bring me into a donut shop and be like, Okay, he says, well, how do you prep up a donut? I'll find something. I'll find something a little bit creative that maybe like, well, 2/3 of the customers come in and be like, well, that's kind of different. Like, hey, you ever go to the donut shop with this? Like, I will figure something out. So when I see found footage reality TV films, I will always look at like, this is what could I do? That is what I did. I brought some nice shots. They were nice shots. Yeah. And it's crazy because everything that you see, except for like where they go to take out the character of Nick, and one scene where we'll just say they all get in a scuffle. They're about 10 to 15 minute locations away. Everything you see in that movie was within like a 2 to 5 minute drive. I kept things so freaking simple because, again, I am trying to shoot a movie. The Loren recipe is always like, we're going to shoot it 1 week straight. Everybody's going to stay at one location. We're just going to keep working. Setups is what burns you. Setups is what shuts you down. Setups is what could put you under. You want the least amount of travel time. And what was also scary about that is I lucked out with Dark Military, huge to the biggest degree, the first one. And I lucked out again with Camera X, but Camera X was largely inside. But you get a week of rain, we got problems. And, and one quick thing on Dark Military history, I had one of 2 weeks. The week I shot Dark Military, it was beautiful weather. I almost scheduled it a week later. If I did, it would have been tropical rain for an entire week, and the shoot would have never happened, and it would have been a problem. So yeah, like I've always had that dreading of when you're shooting outside, you don't tell God, you don't tell the weather what's going to happen. You're at the yeah.
Can you postpone the rain for a while?
Yeah. So it's something, So I might have went to Babel land, but sorry, but go on.
No,
that's all right. I'm an expert in Babylon. Don't worry, as you know.
This is the Tower of Babel here. That's why you're on. Clarifying that, Loren, you shot up in the Poconos. In the film, it's Voorhees, Pennsylvania. What actual town were you guys in?
Okay, so we did not shoot in the Poconos. Camera X was fully shot in South Jersey.
Okay. That's what
now, Joss, I know what you're talking about. Dark Military Rogue was shot in the Poconos. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah. Okay, cool, for sure. I'll talk about kind of like, when I came in, nothing's better than having the writer director on. Let me talk about how this random executive producer Ross. We're talking about him. Hold on, Loren. We're going to talk about me. So we have to
do it up, Ross. Ross, you need to flex some more muscles. You have a movie out.
I'm going to alley-oop Loren's interview over to me. You don't
be enthusiastic about one of your own films. How dare you?
I got clout here, people. So Loren and I had the script early on, as he said, and again, major shout outs to Brian. I thought he had an excellent performance in Rogue. Great. I don't even think you notified me that I know you said I'm working with some of the same people. But when I read the script, I'm like, okay, I really like what he did with the narrative of the story. The only problem is a lot of this heavy lifting is on this Brady character. Like if this guy doesn't nail that performance, that's where it can go either way. And I thought that's where Brian absolutely killed it on his acting performance. Never mind, being the the legend that came in and saved editing. But I was like, I liked it where it was going, but I was like, and I was also a bit surprised because I thought maybe you might take that one, Loren, for the the Lepre twist. Obviously I think like you're a better fit for Laddie. You obviously killed that, but just as Gaz, harkening back to what Gaz said about the dynamic, I think it's a really good job of each character having their own depth, a limited cast, but yet each one of the gang having their own depth. You know what I mean? Which is important. Otherwise, it's like, why is this person here? So
yeah, I would say Brady and Katrina were the shiners of the five of us. Like,
great.
This is hands down, and that's great. But like you said, Brian taking that role on, like if that ball's dropped, the whole movie goes down. I thought he did. Brian actually added a couple like really. We'll just say something happens to one of the what he says to one of the two girls before their time's up. You're kind of like, that was not in the script. We were all like, he didn't say what he was going to say. And we're like, oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so brutally good. So.
Yeah, and that sets up trying to avoid spoilers here. That sets up the end, which I'll just say, folks, you've got to see, because you always say like an inciting incident is good for opening a film, good for opening a novel. But we have that at the end as well. The actors involved, because you see Laddie in one room, ready, that's it. That's his. Yeah. And the reason I feel that's powerful, Lauren, because it leaves the audience to think about the way it closes to the credits. That's what's good in this film as well, because yes, we have the main plot, but there are subplots, there are messages, there is like how things can go wrong when you think you are on the path to justice, say. That is there as well. There is a lot to think about, folks, and with this film. And that is great. And Brady Ross at the end as well. Credible performance, because I can't say anymore. I can't, because
you really can't say anymore. Yeah. But it's one of those, like, I thought those are the two performances. The two performances between me and Brian, and like, we're not together, but like I think they're the ones that stand out. You're just like, wow.
Yeah.
And some of a lot of people love this film, and there were a lot of people that got mad at that ending because of what the title is, and they thought that was going to happen. And I'm kind of like, do you understand why the ending is what it is? And they're just like, oh, well, that's what the title is. And I'm like, we all want the Epstein list. We don't have it. Do you understand what the ending is? Like, it's like,
that's what makes it away from you.
That's what makes the movie, like, at the end, you're like, oh God, I want to kick the TV, because evil wins. It's like that's what it was. And the other part that was like supposed to be the F up is that really mess with people's head is like, well, to say we'll call it, double. So we're not spoiling anything because it's important, and especially the third hit. I call it the three hits. There's a double down scene in the bedroom, and then a horrible insult that happens to one of the characters.
Yeah.
And that three hit in a row was kind of like, I was like, I'm going for this freaking thing. Like, we're going to make people talk. And they but it's kind of crazy. That got outshined compared to the ending so far. Yeah. So far, we're not. Ross and I aren't done advertising. That's something we're going to be talking about shortly. Probably off the air. But like, I haven't really truly begun to drop money into this yet. Right now, it's like a lot of groups and stirring up, and like we were trending. Cam Rex was trending on Tubi. So I thank the horror fans for at least taking the time to check it out. So. That's what we need to keep going here. I know Ross said at the beginning, especially if you have an actual YouTube account. I understand it's very easy to go to the Tubi. I'm sorry, that have an actual Tubi account, but I also understand you don't need an account to go watch something on Tubi. But if you're logged in and you hit that thumbs up, that really tells Tubi, like, push this forward for more people to see. It really will help us out.
Helps us with the push, and even with watch list it. I mean, there's a lot, because obviously this has been going on forever, this whole thing. Like, if people are also wondering, like, they've seen me and Gaz interviewing Loren a few times now. Obviously Gaz introduced me to PA hardcore and dark military, so I guess that's sort of where my involvement started, so to speak. And then Loren comes to me with this thing, just to give people, an idea of how limitless PXF is. Hey, Ross, here's my new script, and it's probably going to be the most inflammatory thing. I don't think I hesitated at all, Loren. I'm like, oh yeah, no, PXF will produce that with you. Like, so if he pitched me on that, just think, I don't think there's any lower me and Loren can go. But more importantly, on what you were talking about, which is the Epstein files, and Loren's covered this in his other interviews. Multiple administrations. If I'm not mistaken, he got arrested in 2002 or 2003. We're at 2026 now. And this is still, you pull up your TV right now of the news clips. This is an everyday story, an everyday news cycle. This name was in the files. You know what I mean? So I really think that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's just one of those things where I've always called myself an independent, and it's just sometimes you got to pick lesser of two evils. But in the end, I always just tell everybody, and I don't understand since 2020 when things got so like triggered. But how could you root for either one of these strangers in suits and expect that either one of them is in looking out for your best interest? You went through an entire Biden administration where, kick the bucket down, and then Donnie comes in. It's like, I'm going to release that. Well, now you asked for it, and you're not releasing anything, or basically you're kind of opening the door to the house, but not letting anybody walk in. But like, look, the box over there. Yeah, you can't go. No, you can't go over to the box, but you can kind of see. Like, no, we can't see. You know, like,
can't you see it from here? Look.
Yeah.
So that's kind of far. Got my binoculars.
And I do kind of like. Obviously, everyone universally like mad and wants to see this, but at the same time, boys, they are the deep state that are out on that list. They are our gatekeepers. They are the people that truly run the world, and their names aren't going out.
Yeah,
because if they go down, the whole system's going down.
Yeah, you're right.
And I hate it. I feel bad. I love the hiding of like. Well, we got to protect the victims. Like, we're not asking for the victims' names. That's not and they're like
they're
God
really
bless
not
victims.
doing
We're
that.
not asking.
They're accidentally leaking them and then redacting other people's names. You know what I mean? It's just overall, it's not a very good job of the rollout.
The thing as well with Camerex, and this has been said many times regarding film and writing, it really does show a personal insight from the characters into a monster, a human monster, having some of the worst monsters of human. We've all like different genres of horror films, etc., where some of the worst monsters are human.
Yep.
Relates to what you've just said, Loren, about what is happening. And you're a martial artist as well, like myself. And I'm sure you've come across stories and incidents of this happening in Georgia's in various places, and it is so evil, so wrong. And what up, Mr. Beckham? Thanks for coming through. But I'm hoping as well with Camerex that this makes people think as well, that they go in and think. I'm trying to be as delicate as I can.
I think that's the whole point of Loren's ending and kind of where I was going with that rant. I just want to put out something political really quickly. Loren and I have discussed some politics and current events over on his channel, so check that out, Average Superstar TV, where you can get some of my kind of other takes that are outside of film and what we talk about on this channel. But I'd like to point out that Acosta was in Trump's first administration. He's the guy who gave Epstein the sweetheart deal in Miami, and also Lutnick is in the current administration, and he was apparently neighbors with him and claimed that, oh yeah, he said something creepy to me one time, and then I never talked to him ever again. Flashback to the files. Well, he actually brought his family to the island to have a lunch or a dinner or whatever it was with Epstein. So every single one of these guys, like Loren's saying, it's one word out this side of the mouth, and then, oh, I'm sorry, my actions are actually this, which is great. The point I was making is that I think that Camera X is going to be relevant for a very long time, at least as long as these Epstein files have been relevant, which is already over
not just that either.
Not to say the content subject matter that Loren covered, we would never make it a current event, but I think it's at its most heated point now, as Loren was saying, because of this daily political news cycle, which is in your face every day, So
Ross, and that's what I'm saying here is like there's people watching and stuff, but like this movie has yet to catch the fire it should. Like that's where the marketing, coming up, which I'll discuss with you another time, after the show or something. But
yeah, absolutely.
There's so much more. Like this isn't it. There's more a lot more that can be done. Because even when I would post the trailer, there's always people like jumping in, like, their eyes get big or like tell me more, or it was crazy with if you not the YouTube trailer, but the trailer I uploaded to Facebook, there were people pushing back in the movie saying, well, this isn't the way to handle the situation. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, so there was like a civil war with the fans of, I'm like, wow. Did you
bring
just
him
say
to
that?
court? Can't you just bring it? It's like, how many times do, again, like Loren said, some rich guy with unlimited resources, you think he's going to spend a lot of time? And but a lot of guys get off for nothing just because of mistrial or inadmissible evidence, you know?
And that's it. Yeah. And Camera X, I'm going to say this. I'm doing my Joe Biden impression again, Loren. Trying to think of the words.
You'd be asleep if you were. That's your Joe Biden. You go to sleep.
Yeah, Donnie's been a little tired too, though. But I assume you're going to say nails the point, guys. So.
Yeah, well, it does because it's rewritten. Okay, I'll say this. Laddie's backstory goes along with what you just said, Ross, and that is said later. And the ending also suggests that this isn't just with recent events you said, where people have escaped the system for heinous acts, and that's as much as I can say.
Yeah. That's the barn burner of like Laddie's story, and you could see how hard he's pushing it through, and then there's a couple hiccups with the team of like, what do you mean? You can't do this now. Like, we got to go. And then for the ending to be the ending, you're just like, oh my gosh. Like everything back to his youth is now upriver forever. Like, that's it. Like, it's like, unless I pull a sequel off, and, I have a huge freaking idea for a sequel of kind of how it was in Camera X versus and in modern time, of one versus the other. We'll just say that. Sure. Like,
I was going to ask you if you would return to this, so that's interesting.
He's mentioned things to me. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say is he's mentioned things to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it. I got the whole thing in my head. I just had to piece it together. But like, it would be kind of like, the receipt's coming, like a little bit. I mean, the receipt would be coming. Yeah, but we'll just put it that way.
So, follow on. I did ask you earlier if this is one of your most challenging roles as an actor. So, for all of you, for all involved in the films, because it's in the film, sorry, not films, because it is a sensitive, difficult subject matter. Is that quite difficult then, as an actor, to put yourself in that mindset, or does it have the opposite effect where you take that emotion and that sense of feeling against something so unjust and you use that to
fuel the fire,
develop a very good performance?
So when I'm in someone else's movie, like I'm gonna answer it two ways. If I'm in someone else's movie, I'm not a character actor. I can't do that. Those people need to be punched in the face, because it's like there's too much energy. There's too much you got 4 hours from a shooting and you're in a corner crying. Like really? I got to put up with this? Like they're not.
Did you see the clip of Harrelson that went viral, Loren, talking about working with McConaughey on True Detective season 1, and he's like, "Listen, this guy was stuck in character. I wanted to punch him in his face." They're like,
that's why I love when Stiller did Tropic Thunder and just exposed how stupid every actor really is and all that. I got that, but for the most part, I turn it on and turn it off, and I am always looking at, not in a malicious way, but I'm trying, whatever scene I'm doing, I'm trying to outshine all the other actors. It's kind of like, like the Olympics. Like, you go, all right, now I'm going to go. And
we'll see working against
pro wrestling, isn't it?
But when I'm making my own films, especially this last one, where I felt uncomfortable probably half the time playing Laddie. The reason I'm uncomfortable is like, all right, this is a little bit harder than I thought. I told you I was having trouble absorbing the lines. I had to use the
teleprompter. Yep.
The teleprompter, yeah. But here's another thing, folks. I said when I'm doing mine, I'm also directing, and I'm looking in my head, like, before I go, I better be done in 11 minutes because such and such has got to get their scene in and we're losing light. So it's like there's a big push behind my back of like, you're going to need to take a couple of these lines again versus that's enough for this scene. Like I always mark like in this camera aspect, I had like 4 or 5 scenes where I was just like, you have to hit it out of the ballpark. You can't let everything else you could kind of trim down a little bit if it or whatever it is to get by. But like, so when you're directing too, there's a lot. And especially if you see any problems within the team or, hey, like, you know, what's going on over there? Like you gotta, first off, you're not always going to see something with your cast and crew. Sometimes you might not find out towards the end of the movie or you might not find out until it wraps or even weeks after. Sometimes like but like you can't see everything, but you are the commander in chief. So it falls on you. So it's hard. It's hard to do your lines to that. Like I look at it in a small way, like I made Camera X stronger. If I wrote like a 6th character and trimmed them down and played that, and I could just stayed on directing. You know, that's the way I kind of look at it. Like Barabbas is just a natural no problem. His body language, like it's just certain roles people fall into. That's mine. I'm more of a bad guy, but I always want to try, you know, being the hero role. You know, so that was that. So basically, if it's not my film, I'm completely fearless. When it's mine, I have a limited amount of time because I'm wearing so many hats.
Yeah, it's a great answer, and I think there's a little bit more minutia to it as well. Of course, you need to stick the laddie lines, but of this group dynamic that you guys have created in the house, for instance, when each one tells their origin story, you also have your reactive performance, you know, laddie's reaction to the other. So it's like if you stick your lines and then someone else is going and you're just kind of standing there stoically not reacting to what they're saying, it doesn't really have, you know, there's kind of more of a reactive performance.
I can tell you right now, Ross, all 5 of us, when we did, you know, our backstory, what that mattered, I didn't have to give any notes to one except for Rosario's character. She said something twice. Like she didn't realize she did. I was like, that was the only mark. It's like performance was fine. It's like, hey, you said that twice, so we just went and we did it again. You know, like. But I think everybody just crushed that. It was important.
I totally agree. You guys should see me when I'm doing the Zodiac episode, stuttering through my facts, and they're like, Ross, you said that 5 times already. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll fix that in post. But
and I could also tell this an insight when I was doing mine. Laddie's is the longest, and there's another reason because there's some cuts in there. Is like why I showed around children playing like in a public park, like there was some hiccups there that was that I'm hiding under. So we just put my audio over it. But the reason I couldn't get all that was we were in a public field, so there's hockey going on. There's baseball. There's field. Like this is a huge sports complex. Well, right in the middle of my first take, there's nobody there. And then just comes armies of cars. It was like a scheduled game. And I'm just going. And as soon as I got done with the first one, I'm like, I could salvage 80% of that. I got to go again, and we got to get it. And like in my head, I'm like, I know the other 20% that like I got it, but like we got to go because it's going to get really loud. Like it is really freaking loud. So
yeah, I think it's important for the audience to understand these insights because it's clearly a found footage film that we created on a micro budget. But I think maybe non-film people have a tendency to say like, well, how hard could it be? It was 5 actors in a film. And it's like,
yeah, they think it should be done in a day. Yeah.
We don't have a Hollywood budget to shut a local playing field down, you know what I mean? Or shut a street down or whatever else Loren needs. So it's, I was going to say, you know, it's how you adapt to these things. Like you were saying earlier about editing.
I also could say in that scene too, this is something every filmmaker needs to pay attention. If there's anything you're going to take out of this, as a filmmaker with your audio guy, listen to this because I learned something on the fly. So where we shot was a sports complex. Next to that was the troubled teens, a place for them, actual prisoners, all all like the communities, like all that women that were abused, kids that were abused. It's all in a row, and in the middle of it is this sports complex. So also, there's a U.S. Air Force, Army training center, and a police academy. Like it's so much. There's like they're high paying jobs in this area. And right when Laddie got done doing his monologue, I'll call him Laddie, but myself, I got done doing my second monologue, and we got it. My audio guy goes, "I'm out," and I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "I am shut down." He has it all. And I was like, "Why are you shut down?" He's like, "I'm talking to power completely shut down on his audio," and he's like. He goes, "Is there any military around here?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, literally like a liar up. He's just like, he's like, "It would help if I knew that." And I was like, what's wrong? He's just like, he goes, "So you're on the military, you're near a military. They got like the radar of like, what is this frequency? Shut it down. That you're too close to our army base, and they could shut you down for 48 hours. So we lost our audio, and I want to go do another scene after that. But it was getting close. We had probably about an hour and a half of sunlight. And I was like, you know what? I was like, this is bad. I was like, could you please do whatever he's like, I got to basically make some phone calls and explain what I was doing. Because if you get permission beforehand, like there's serial numbers on that. As long as it matches up and you tell them what they're doing, but you're good. But if not, they could just cut your power just like that, like boom. So with that hour and a half, I was just like, let's swipe out this for this. And that's where we went and did one of those drone shots when they were walking outside down that long path. I was just I like we don't need audio for that. We were just talking amongst ourselves, you know. There's a drone following us. So that's called, you know, adapting and using your time wisely. But I had no idea. And I bet if I was thought about that earlier, I would have asked him of like, hey, we're close to him. But I didn't even think of it. And so we were very lucky that we got all the dialogue in, because that could have been, you got to go back. You got to park the car like as perfectly as you could. How's the overcast now? It's like they just changed the whole scene. So, yeah. So
amazing. No,
yeah.
Even I didn't know that one, guys. You have anything else, guys?
Yeah, I just wondered actually if any people want to ask Loren anything who are watching. Just give them a chance. Does anybody want to pop some questions? And Loren and Ross can take those. So come on, folks.
Yeah, you could put that out there. Anything for me and Loren on EPing it. I did want to say shout out to everybody who donated band merch for the characters, Loren, because I know some of the bands you had them on.
Yep, always bad. They're Bad Luck 13, the same guys that did the Dark Military video and the song track for it. But yeah, he donated some clothing. Sean Smithson, great dude. He donated a lot of clothes, like the hoodies, the shirts Laddie's wearing at the end. That was all his. And listen, there was like no charge for any of this. It's independent film. Like we need clothes. Like, and you know, like when someone puts a roll call out, like, hey, we need clothes. Like you're stupid if you don't donate. I'm just telling you right now. That's lifetime of advertising. Don't always give it, especially if they're asking for free.
Yep. Yeah. They got their plugs into the thing. I mean, I suppose we could talk a little bit more about the other actors. I thought the Ian role was amazing, Loren. He absolutely killed it. That's pretty complicated too. Being, I guess he's volunteering, but you guys sort of voluntold him to some degree of.
He knew exactly what he was doing. But if he wasn't, that's why his character says he wasn't going to be doing the killing. Like he's basically saying, "I'll go to jail for a few years to make a career out of this." He's an accessory, but wasn't supposed to. Yeah, like he wasn't going to get his hands dirty at all.
But somewhat conflicted as the time goes on, would you say?
Yeah, no. Also, just like, wow, poop's hitting the fan. I don't know.
I didn't think it would be this bad. You know?
That's.
And I tell you right now, just shooting honest, like I wish I could have got that main scene back. Like we just lost time. Like there was supposed to be so much more of if you were an audience member of like, well, this is what I would do, or what do you do here? It is my dream to have enough of money to shoot for 2 straight weeks instead of 1 week. Because I'm telling you, I could get the stitch every time. Like I look at my old script, like this scene was cut.
Yeah.
It could have made it. It didn't change anything, but it could have added more pizzazz and more detail. But it is what it is. Every film I've ever done, you have to look at what's expendable. So you always have those like 4 or 5 scenes where like we don't get to it, it's okay. But if we could, I'd love
to haves. But
yeah,
it's
yep.
But it still does the job in delivering. With that said, and it's like you said, Loren, it's constant adapting. So I'm going to try and carefully skate over this. The Katrina's action scene, her notable one in the end. I'm just curious, did she herself express that rage, or did you all work on those scenes together?
I didn't really give much guidance, just whatever they kind of brought to the table. If I felt like, hey, dial it back, the only advice I gave was to the character of Ian, like scene 2. I thought he would, he kind of turned into Jim Morrison a little bit too much. Like he was like, really wine. As soon as I just like back up. I was like, I don't care if you want to pull that a little bit. Like, I can't have the dragged out thing. He was the only advice I gave to the characters of like, yeah, I can't because Ian to me was a character you're supposed to like, and I felt that the guy you're gonna want to punch if you're gonna talk and be wow and like that's like no, like everyone's gonna hate that. You're he's an important piece, but he's also the comedian, and he's also a little stupid. He's smart, but he's stupid. So I was like, I can't you're not Slaterson. Like I can't have this and taste it confused. No.
For sure. But it was funny. So like I know Loren's like way deeper into like the found footage and even some of the shock horror. Me a little bit. Gaz probably the least of the 3 of us. So the way I pitched it to Gaz, Loren was like, okay, guys, so you're gonna like the soundtrack because Loren got the hardcore in there. So I'm like, here's what you're gonna like. You're gonna like the score. I just played to his strengths. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, though, you always even just from music work, I get hundreds and hundreds of emails every day, and sadly, the only downside of that, Loren and Ross, is you forget what you've listened to, what you've wrote about, what you've reviewed, because it's nonstop. Everything from Darkwave, EBM, New York Hardcore, the lot. But even if it's something, unless it's that terrible, you always look for a positive. Right. So what was good? Did this work? Was the acting good in this? Was the transition well? And us doing this show as well, and this better than us, Loren. What up, Mike? You're never gonna like everything you review, everything that's suggested. If so, then what's the point? It's boring if you're just gonna sit there doing everything you like. So you've at times, we've sat here covering things. I say Ross has liked something, or I have. So I said to him, "Don't worry. I'm not just gonna. Yep, I like the soundtrack. That was it. There's nothing else I don't like about it. I'm just gonna come on, right? Yeah, that was good. See you later, Loren."
This is one where, like, I understand that there could be more guns up at this one because it's found footage. So when you make any film, like when I made Dark Military, I have film score to help guide you through the movie. Like there is like, if anyone really paid attention when the camera X was on, there was a pulsing. I did kind of make this low grade song, and you hear the full thing. We'll just say when Laddie's walking around towards the end of what happens, and at the ending credits, after about 12 seconds, that whole song kicks in. But like. Mm-hmm. It was difficult because it makes them, and without film score, movies could drag. They can. So this is what you're up against. So like I understand if someone's like I said, up to the music video part, or even if the music video part after still didn't get them going. I understand. I know what's expected here. I almost know what they're going to write before they write. So making that song fill it in tiny parts, I think helps too. But it overall is, it's like you are in the ocean with, I'd say, with those 5 actors with one paddle. That's what I call it, with just that little bit of one paddle. And it's like we're trying to swim somewhere else, and we don't got multiple paddles, and everybody can't row at once because of this film score too. You know,
I feel it needed that backstory. It needed that build-up because, yes, I agree. There could be some folks who think, right, yeah, this was too much of a slow build-up. I just want to get to where things start to happen. But without that build-up, without giving the reason why the characters met, why they're doing what they're doing, why they've got to get to A to B, it would be pretty soulless. There'd be no point to it. So I feel you had to have that.
You would be lost if someone just went and said, "Oh, he talked about the music video forward." If you went and watched the movie from the video forward, you'd be asking yourself all these questions like, "Well, what? Wait, what? Wait, I don't understand." Like you have to sometimes do a dialogue. I understand people that love action movies with no plots and it's just people blowing. I get it. That's your attention span. But like,
I'm as guilty of that as well.
I've always liked movies like. Huge movies like Magnolia or like American Honey, like movies with almost no score. It's just all dialogue driven, and I understand people don't like that. I like it. There's
No Country
for me. It's so much harder to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm probably like. I mean, Gaz, you have a pretty good variety. You like. I'm probably like the outlier because I love a fast paced, no plot, run and gun John Wick, and I also like a 2.5, 3 hour, 80s, 90s sci-fi movie that's extreme slow burn. So like most people are probably like one or the other, you know what I mean? I'm like, I just like the movie,
but I think as well with the subject matter, this was important to establish the characters have said. I'm reinforcing this for people. I'm not just sat here, oh, hey, because Gaz works with Ross and he knows Loren, so he's just going to say, oh, yeah, go and... No, but this is important. It needs it. Because otherwise it just wouldn't work. And then it'd be, well, why make it? We may as well just make one of those fast-paced action movies with no plot. Don't get me wrong, I'm as guilty of liking as many of them as anybody else. So no, it's it delivered.
Some quick shout out to Cody from Wet Paint, writer director of Days of Sodom. So go check out his channel.
Hey Cody.
Let's talk like some other actors. So I thought like the interviews that you've been posting on Average Superstar, Loren, are excellent. You guys, did you shoot those on set? It looked like it was on set.
It was literally just outside. Really just 2 locations. That's it. It's
very cool. I mean, they're short, but Loren everybody gives a little bit of their insight of kind of working on set with Loren, which I thought is great. Joe, if I butcher anybody's name, Loren, just check me on it. Joe Garifo, Nick Brandon. I thought that was also a pretty complicated role. I really like what you guys discussed on the behind the scenes interview.
Yeah, he didn't even read the script. It was, which he asked me. He's like, "Do I need?" I was like, "You know what? I think you should." I just said, I was just like,
interesting choice.
And I said, his character being a mute and can't hear. I was like, just remember what happens to this character. Like when he's physically being harmed, he can't say "ow." That's not like
help, anything.
He can't say "ow" or like that's just not
express the pain. Right.
That's just something that's all in the human mind by watching other people. Like that's how we express pain. So I was like, what kind of noises are going to come out of someone that can't hear? And he's just like, That was important. There's more interviews coming on the YouTube channel, the Average Superstar TV, which you could see everything I've ever done. Just please just look at the playlist. Like I throw footballs and I'm in other fields. Like I just don't stick with one sort of world between my film fest, between my wrestling career, podcast, and even this interview. I'll add it to like my interviews. From this channel, so anybody can watch that. But I got all that, and then we are on Instagram and Facebook for Camera X. It's important to any shares you could do. Just it helps, even if you're just getting a 1 or 2 people. Like that's how movies chain react. It's just that then there's just that one person that has the biggest audience, and boom, you're out there. So, I don't know how to not like just release a movie and walk away. Like there's so many filmmakers, I don't understand how they do it. It's like, we put it out. Like, think about all the work you did, man.
Exactly.
You hear me just saying there with Brian and stuff, like how long this took. Like, no, that's not it. Like, if you're not liking your results, you better put some more money into this, man, or get up more podcasts, like get it repost in more groups. And this is actually, to me, going to be we've got the curveball because we're talking about killing a pedophile here, so that's immediate marketing, but. The fact of the matter is, my first dark military film had about 70 actors in it. Well, guess what? A lot of them were reposting, so we built momentum quickly. Guess what? Camera X is 5 actors. That's a giant drop off. And if there are reposts, but like, hey, they got other work. Some of them don't really market. Like, it's just what they don't do. I mean, I wish they would, but. So what are you going to do? Like, it falls on you. It falls on Ross and I. Are we comfortable with this? And if not, we got to put some more money in here or figure out the best route. So, 100%. Like I said, the real advertising is coming, but that's one thing. An advantage for a filmmaker is less people, the better. You're less problems on a set with but you got to look at, if there's not a lot of people attached to the film, that's not a whole lot of reposts, not a lot of shares. So, compared to if you have a much bigger cast, which, then it's like Yellowstone, you're like trying to guide all these horses down there and keep them, and hopefully, you get them where they need to go, that they don't run off. Like, that's it. It's hard being a ranger,
Absolutely.
But you've always had Loren as well, and again, I'm not stroking your ego ever since I've known you and reached out all those years ago about Pennsylvania hardcore, and obviously being on various shows with me and Ross. You've always made yourself accessible and talked about whatever it is that you are working with. Even if you've only got a short time available, you've always been there, not just with us, with whoever, and. That is refreshing because not everybody does that. And I think, well, if you want to promote your film, your band or whatever, you've got to get out there and talk about it.
Thanks. And I also believe, as a filmmaker, like most of these podcasts where you get a guest on, whether it's like in music or film, they always seem to just not want to say anything negative of like, like, hey, some people aren't going to like this because of this, or like, hey, there were some hiccups on the set, or like even me was saying I wasn't exactly the most comfortable in the role of Laddie. Like, it's so important to get out in front of things. Like, you don't want someone like, hey, guess what? I didn't like that. I see things, like, or I heard about this. Like, always just be honest. Like, what are you hiding it for? Just be real. People want real. It's the reason Joe Rogan's number one. It's like like, he's not a normal guy, but he is a normal guy. Everybody warms up, understands this dude. Like, that's what people want. That's why he's number one. Don't act like I made the best film in the world. I had the greatest time.
That's what I was just coming to. There's this, especially in the internet age, which is all like face value, fake it till you make it. It's like, because, well, I put this project out. If I tell you I had a difficulty filming it, creating it, or whatever, in their mind, like, I'm criticizing my thing. We had some editing trouble. We had some, guess what? Almost every film goes through that, including Hollywood studio productions. Why do you think the Warriors went over shooting schedule, went over budget? That was not some CGI Star Wars level sci-fi film. I mean, those are 10 guys running through the New York streets. So it's reality, and you find
Jaws, everything. It goes over. Jaws, Back to the Future. Look how far they shot with Eric before they replaced him, and then had to bring everybody back and do it all over again.
It even happened.
Go, guys.
Yeah, sorry, no. I was just going to say, it even happens in interviews. You can have all your prep. You can think, right, I'm going to ask them this. I'm going to get, and your mind just goes blank. And it can happen, and it's frustrating because you're there on camera, and you're going, And then once that podcast's over, you remember, oh, I was going to ask this, but you know what? Like you said, it's keeping it real. It's keeping it authentic. So what? It can happen. Sometimes you can get wires crossed, like, oh man, I didn't mean to kind of offend them in this area or whatever, but you've just got to go forward. Those things can happen.
And I'm not reinventing the wheel, but you saw me once already do this and write something down. When you said something, I wrote 2 notes down to bring up. Like, it's
100%.
It's a podcast, guys. It's not like you got they can't see you writing. Like, if I'm making a note because I'm going to bring a topic up that's going to make this show better, you do it. Like Ross has been on my podcast numerous times. He's seen me a million times write. Like, someone's saying something, it's like, got some questions, and so this topic leads into this. Like, but if I don't write it down, I might forget about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we're talking about an industry over 100 years old in filmmaking. So the fact to think that no director, actor ever had a problem on set would be insane. Now cameras are smaller now, computers are higher powered. You can, AI age, of course, you can cheat things. So things have gotten technically easier. But guess what? With new technology also comes new problems, like Loren said, with editing and such.
I can tell you is all right now. I mean, you're seeing it going off of camera X and anything, but and all the independent filmmakers that from just started that are going to have the heart to drive this out to all the good independent filmmakers, we're the future, because I believe that Hollywood, half of it's going to fall. Half mean the television's not going anywhere. They are the gatekeepers, and that is not going to change because they have the access to the networks. That is not going to change. The box office guaranteed to fall. It's already happening. If this merger goes through, especially with the Warner Brothers to Netflix, and they own half that.
I'm dreading it.
I'm just telling everybody, like, Netflix has that. They could just, between woke culture, influence them, or they could just be like, these shows over here that you love that were from Warner Brothers, we don't think they're going to draw. They're shelved. And this is where you laugh at people that have Blu-rays and DVD box sets. You ain't laughing at me, pal, because I got everything I've ever wanted in case something like this ever happens. You're not
exactly.
You're not taking away my. You're not taking away my Sopranos DVDs, like over my dead body. If something ever happened like that. But the Iron Lung is proof that things are on fire. It's like there's so many ways to save and make movies now and get them out there. Hollywood doesn't understand that. I remember Damian Leone was even saying, I was going before Terrifier 3. That all these studios were calling him in and saying, like, how did this happen? Like how like, what did you do? And all it really was in the end was, did he make the best movie in the world? No, but it was a character
in the market.
It was a character that the horror movie audience championed. That is truly it. And the fact that everybody from Fuzz on the Lens, to David, Damien, to Phil Falcone was accessible to the audience at all times, chain react that. And then it hit the mainstream. This is where the YouTubers and whatever, the TikTokers, that's not my world, but when you're building an audience and you have millions of people that are following you and you make a movie, and then all of a sudden that's showing up in the top 10 at the box office, and Hollywood's like, how they doing that? It's like, yeah, they're doing it without you, man. You're not the gatekeeper of them.
Don't need you anymore. It's social media, word of mouth.
It's social media, word of mouth. And I'm telling you, like, oh, well, we're just gonna what works. All right, let's make another sequel to this, or lean on the Marvels. Like, well, then your Marvel movies and your DC, all of it, the Star Wars. It's like you haven't gone away. You know who's gonna make a giant splash when Freddy and Jason come back? You know why? Because we haven't seen them in a while. You know who would be the worst person to come back right now? Michael Myers, because movie came out 2 months ago.
He's always back.
He's always back.
Predator as well, with them destroying that recently.
And then they don't want to take chance on anybody like me or anybody else because, well, they don't know this person. we don't want to put the marketing in, so just add a sequel or a reboot to something that everybody's going to know. If you don't give the consumer reason to leave that house, it's done. And the theaters have bills, man. Like people think like, oh, they're getting the movie ticket money. They're not. They're almost getting none of it. They're getting the concessions. That's why your popcorn is $15. That's why your soda is $9 because this is how they pay the bills.
Yeah.
You know, so
electricity for all those screens ain't cheap. You know,
I think movie theaters are going to turn into. I think a lot of them. I think the AMC stuff in certain cities are going to survive because there's a certain niche audience. But I also think 80% of the I'm thinking that's going to be about 20%. I think the 80%, the other ones, they're going to fold, and then a lot of the theaters are going to be like, "Hey, the Warriors is playing." Yeah, it's crazy. I just put out a clip of me and Dave talking about like Jaws got re-released, back in the fall. So much money. 50 years later, a movie that a lot of people never saw on the screen, want to see it in the screen. You know the ending. You rather go pay and watch The Shark
so good
that you probably have on Blu-ray than to watch the current movies in there.
Gaz has been talking about this. You've been talking about this, Gaz, with the anniversary.
Yeah. Well, I wondered if that was where you were going, Loren, because recently a lot of the theaters have been shown, like you said with Jaws, all the legacy movies. Yeah. They've been outselling and doing so much better than all the current released trash. And you go to the theater, the legacy movies are packed. There was another indie movie released earlier this year, Primitive War, which was kind of like a Vietnam War movie with Jurassic Park. Look, it's mindless fun. It was good, an independent film. I really enjoyed it. It was a good movie. But no, you're right. I think the theaters are going to go more that way. And that is pretty telling on the state of current affairs that, as you said, they are not wanting to take that chance like they used to give somebody a go. Maybe they would then get a fresh take, something innovative or that people want to see instead of some butchered, terrible... this is my perfect excuse to say Predator Badlands was completely whack, but that's what we got, this horrible Disney-fied trash.
It was like a PS2 game.
It was horrible, man. It was horrible, bro. It was horrible.
I've been making a joke for the last 10 years, but anybody who knows, my back piece is a beautiful Geiger Alien versus Predator fight, which I used to just love to show people, like Alien versus Predator, badass.
It's gonna be the hardest thing ever.
And how terrible the movies have been. I'm ready to go get it lasered off. Oh God,
Geiger.
No, no.
Lauren, don't you have it on the back? Me? No, I got something. I have Art the Clown now. So Gaz has been talking about this. I mostly agree. I'm super worried about. I mean, somebody like me, I know you're into the post-apocalyptic stuff, Lauren. I'm a Mad Max fanatic, so I'd be super worried about. That's Warner Brothers. George Miller, obviously.
Yeah,
worried about. Are they just going to shelf that because it's some hard R, post-apocalyptic thing? I would be certainly worried about that. But just to give some. Go ahead.
Sorry.
I just want to give some context for the PXF PRS audience that might not know. Gaz has been raving and ranting to me about Lauren for years about PA hardcore. But I remember, I think when we first interviewed you on our old audio show, and you were talking about I remember when Lauren was an extra as a security guard in Christbearer, or a bouncer in Christbearer. And then when you made friggin' Dark Military 1, you're like, I had 75 people on set and I directed this. I was like, Lauren did what? He got all these that was just a massive jump. I've been around the Boston and New England scene. I've seen a lot of ambitious projects that kind of just go nowhere. So that was super impressive. Never mind Lauren's work with what you did with Lloyd Kaufman in Jersey, the trauma. Shout out to the trauma camp. And then obviously, your connection to Damien. You mentioned him. I was going to mention him earlier. Lauren's cameo in Terrifier 2, and the interviews and stuff you did on the old the local show when you guys had on Damien and stuff. So it's honestly what I expected from Hollywood, since they're the copycat assembly line. I was like, why? I figured they would bite off Damien's formula at some point, but I guess they just couldn't figure it out.
Well, I don't think that. I think by doing that, those suits lose their jobs because it's like. I have to say, take a page out of Trump. Like, hey, he cut a lot of jobs. Like, oh, he cut a lot of jobs. Like, yeah, but they weren't needed. So if you're gonna do the Terrifier thing and just kind of hit a niche audience, well, guess what? All those 20 execs at the office, like, we don't need you anymore. We only need 3 of you to do these. So you're taking jobs away, and I believe a lot of those people are just like, it's kind of like everyone's worked the job where someone got fired. And they know they're getting fired, and they're running around saying to everybody, like, they can't fire me. This place will fall apart in 2 weeks. You watch. If they fire me and it's like, 2 years later, everything's fine. Like,
it's basically stay in that G to PG-13 range that you can market to, 5-year-olds with the action figures up until, older teenagers to kind of fill up the seats. And I mean, every once in a while we get our film that does well. We talk about it all the time, but it's I would say this, way more rare than what we grew up on in the 80s and the 90s when it was just back-to-back bangers all the time.
And the early 2000s as well, yeah.
The 80s and 90s, though, you would never be able to air Jaws and get a time slot for that. Like, every movie was good. Like, honestly, like, even the bad movies that were in the 80s and 90s that had a short run, you're like, it wasn't very good. They were at least in the box office for a couple months. Like, they're better than the garbage we got today. Like,
so in me and Gaz's reviews, this comes up frequently, and obviously, like, The Thing, considered a failure during its release, an epic cult classic now, but it went up against like E.T., like Loren said. So when you're going up against, there's all these super, banger, blockbuster, summer blockbusters. It's like, E.T. is this friendly alien that's going to save you. And like, nobody knows what the Thing is. And he killed the whole outpost. It's a different marketing strategy. You know what I mean? So, but it happens.
It's all, dude, I keep going back, and I don't know why Hollywood didn't learn its lesson, but Maverick was probably the biggest, besides the Avatars, was the best comeback, most profitable movie. Yeah. Guess what? They weren't worried about Republican, Democrat, gender, woke shit. It was just like, hi, I know something from 1986 here. I know that character. The only thing that they trimmed back on is they never said that the Middle Eastern country that they were fighting with. They were just called the enemy. They just called them the enemy.
Yeah. It was a genius decision. Genius decision.
And it really was just, in reality, it was Star Wars. Guys, that's all Maverick was. Like, well, we can't go above and bomb, then we'll get blown up. So we got to go in here.
Fire and the vent of the Death Star.
That'll blow the whole thing up, but we can all die. That's exactly what it was.
You know what I just found out doing some research through, and we got another, my editor on my show is a big Star Wars guy. That sequence that you exactly referred to, the Dam Busters. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
See, Loren knows his stuff, man. And that was, I didn't, I'm like a, Kurosawa Star Wars fanatic, as Gaz knows. And when I saw that, I'm like, what, the whole, red unit, red squadron taking out the Death Star, right out of the Dam Busters. That's crazy, for anyone who might not know.
But overall, to get everybody to go to the box office, the woke has to relax. The suits have got to, they've got to just let the filmmaker make the film and stop running up and saying make sure this happens, make sure that happens.
I mean, check the boxes.
And even before the woke culture, they get out of control. They did it with Zack Snyder with those Batman versus Superman. They were in his face every 2 seconds. Well, make sure this happens. Just see the script. This doesn't make any sense when you bring that in. Nobody could show up with Domino's Pizza. Okay, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right on that. I do want to do one thought on this and then swing us back to our film. So 2 guys from my area, Loren, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. So they did that film, The Rip, on Netflix, and they did a whole media run. And one of the things they were talking about was okay, Netflix told us the plot needs to be restated 4 times to account for people being on their phones while watching the film. And I think this is exactly what both of you were both talking about. I understand the modern climate and everyone has a phone attached to their hand, but let's get back to, why don't we make the script about the film, so it's engaging, so the person's not on their phone, and it doesn't need to be restated to us every 10 minutes what the movie's about, you know?
So
that's where I'm at.
I could bring something else up here that I think makes things dangerous in a movie theater with when you show someone on a cell phone and the screen. Oh shit, let me check Facebook really quick. You're taking you're kind of subjectively, it's kind of like, I believe it was Superman 2 when Christopher Reeve throws Bog, I think it's that the guy that talk, he throws him in New York City through a Coca-Cola sign. That was to get into the viewer's head, I need a drink. And they actually got some sort of like there were subjective things about films back then where it's like you show a Pepsi, you show a Snickers bar and all that. It's like, you're mind effing everyone. Well, if you're going to show a cell phone, I'm very big on don't. You notice I don't really put much Dark Military, the cell phones got burned. And in Camera X was like Katrina's character was like, you know, we all agreed everyone stays off social media. You didn't see any phone because you know, I don't like it. I love when Rob Zombie would say something like, not that he hasn't need 70s, but he loved going to the 70s. He didn't have to worry about all that crap.
No cell phones. I love it. Yeah. But I mean, you're talking about Damon and Affleck, two of the biggest names ever, and Netflix literally goes to him and say, hey, make sure that in the character dialogue, they repeatedly throughout the film tell you this is what the rip's about, the heist and this much money, because the viewers who are the people we're marketing to are going to be watching your movie like this. So they're not actually going to be paying attention to any of that dialogue. So that's a very dangerous, slippery slope, because then you just have like these copy pasted inserted monologues throughout the movie. And by the way, I know we're an hour 40 into the movie, but here's a monologue what the plot's about, restating it to you. I just don't want to be in that future.
It's like it's like a zombification of society, isn't it? I can't help now just see they live in my head again.
Let's just say like a really creative script, like you're gonna take Tenet or Inception or Interstellar, and you're gonna continually have characters tell you what the movie's about through a monologue 5 times throughout the film. Like that's what makes those films so good, is you really don't know what's going on, or you got to figure out your own interpretation. Go ahead, Lauren.
It's just again, like I was saying, Maverick, or like even like, I mean, there was no cell phones at the time, but like Ford versus Ferrari, that was like another like, holy crap, what a good movie. Like we are just so lacking on that. And the way the writers are now, it's just like, all right, well, make sure this person's here to represent these type of culture. Just make sure it's like, well, you're not here to make the best movie if you're doing that. If it's like, hey, go team
to each audience.
This isn't Voltron. Like, okay, like not everybody gets a lion. Like, if it's going to make sense for a movie, it's like there's a time for everything. For everything that's like considered woke, there is a time for that, and if it fits, great. But if you try to force it in there, the viewer knows. And 100%. I think the worst part is truly the death of cinema is streaming, because like I didn't see this movie. Well, 3 weeks later, it's going to be on whatever Paramount's, Prime or whatever. And I don't like going. I don't enjoy going to movies anymore. I really don't. I don't like it when I have to wait 30 minutes for the trailers to go by. Then I get an Army commercial. Then I get a Coca-Cola commercial. Then Nicole Kidman's frozen face. And it's like 40 minutes goes by, and I have to question. Wait, how long was this movie? It was supposed to be 90 minutes. Now I'm going to say 2 hours and 10 minutes. Like I thought like this is going to cut into where I have to be next. Like oh God, it kills me.
I was just saying, you're going to a 2.5 hour movie with 30-minute previews. You're going to be, Gaz, you go pretty frequently, up until recently, I go all the time. You're going to be sitting in your seat for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours. Like Lauren said, some of these movies are super long.
Yeah. The only benefit to that is people like me that are kind of challenged by punctuality but this is as funny as this is. I can show up 45 minutes late and the movie still hasn't started. And then that's true. That happens. The benefit is I miss all the whack trailers, of course, and all the commercials and everything. But no, you're right, because it makes everything so long.
And anyone who has ever I mean, who do you know that you see it in a movie theater? But like, basically, the Loren formula when I would go into a movie theater is if I don't have to worry about where I'm sitting, meaning like doesn't matter that, hey, look, there's not a lot of people here. I stand in the back and lean against the wall the entire trailers, until Nicole Kidman's statue goes up. That's when I sit down because I can't sit 30 minutes because then I'm like, like it's hard. It's hard to hold my attention like that.
Think about it. Then if you're watching one of these new Marvels, whatever, like Gaz was saying, and you're gonna like, oh, I want to see the bonus scene that ties in with the next movie. You wait another 25 through the credits to see the 30-second, Robert Downey Jr. or whatever it is.
Which is probably better than the entire Marvel movie you've just watched.
Got him. I'm gonna swing us back to Camera X, gents. Just going back to some of our actors. I think Doug helped us out with some production. Loren, he did an excellent job. Detective Cronus. Really like those final interrogation scenes, like you guys were saying before. Seemed a little bit. I'm noticing a crime element, Loren. It seems similar to some of the interrogation police station scenes in Dark Military. Was that just like a Loren Lepre thing, or did you have any correlation between?
I didn't plan that. I did not say let's copy and paste that, but it was just. No, this is the way we set the room up, I guess.
I think it works both. I think it works in both films. I just didn't know if you were trying to, do a little.
I thought as far as when the Dark Military cops and all that, like I really kind of wanted that to feel the 24 of like they're in a movie. It's like quick meeting. All right, if we do this, this could happen. If we don't do this, F you, I'm doing it anyway. Like that was like my tribute to where I say the 24 formula. Plus, the movie's the hunt is going on for 2 hours. Like you got 2 hours to try to stop these people and save as many of those, the prey out there. So I just wanted bare bones. Like you're in an interrogation room, the main character knows like he's in a lot of trouble. Like this doesn't look good. And then at the other end, you got, they're not stupid. The cops like kind of be like, you may have been the call in
there the whole time.
Yeah. So, I like a lot. I like how it's cut too from like, one swipe out of the chairs and all that. That was
same. No, it was awesome. I really hadn't watched the trailer, recently, other than we played it right at the beginning there. I forgot how much you actually put in the trailer. You really did put quite a bit. You didn't obviously blow the plot or anything.
Oh, no.
Things going on. But you put a little bit more.
I thought without a doubt in the trailer, I over-explained, but I do believe people that like need to hear that, and plus the text, like. I did. You can't walk away from that movie and not understand what you just saw. Like, yeah. I mean, like you can't. It's all is like, hi, this is going to be intense. This really here's the plot. It's going to be intense. Are you jumping on? That's really was the point of that trailer.
When Laddie looks into the camera, hey, this is why we're I'm doing it. I'm going down to the ship type thing. Like I like that works really well for the trailer in my opinion. I didn't realize we were gonna go this long, but it's us three. We kind of always do. Do you have anything else that you want to hit, Loren, with, I guess? It's us.
Just sorry, we can't refund you for your time. This is
well, here's how you get it back. You go watch our film, and you'll feel like, wow, I feel way better about watching that 2-hour interview. But did you have
whatever you got, guys? If you guys want to wrap it up, that's fine. It's my stomach.
Yeah, just does anybody have any questions for Loren before we do wrap things up? Anything at all, folks?
Yeah,
people are all lost. There's no football. That's what's going on right now.
yeah.
Loren's channel, Loren's work with Damian Kaufman, his film, festival, any of that stuff, or anything else for your main questions, guys. If you want to bring it back before we go.
Just to thank Loren again for joining us. Having such an in-depth conversation, giving us some really great personal insight into the whole process behind Camera X. No, Ross, pretty much. I think we've covered everything. Loren answered a lot of questions before I asked them, and I'm interested in what you do next, whatever it is.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think we'll with that we'll wrap in a couple minutes here. Of course, as always, go check out Loren on our Roadhouse review. You can go check out the other interviews we did with Loren on Rogue, on our actor filmmaking interview series. Obviously, Camera X is out on Tubi. Like we said, best thing you guys can do for us: like it, watch list it, share it. Like Loren said, share the Facebook Camera X on Facebook, share Camera X on Instagram. Obviously, if you follow Loren or I, will both be obviously reposting those frequently. But otherwise, Loren, let them know where to find you. Obviously, the trailer is on your channel, Average Superstar TV on YouTube.
Yes, so we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on X. So am I as myself. If anybody's looking to get in touch in any way, check it out and follow. Especially my Facebook wall. If you guys just stroll it, I'm kind of all film business, nothing personal. It's just like besides what concert I might be at, but you can see a lot of short clips of my world. From every bit of walk of life, if anybody's interested with that. Average Superstar TV on YouTube. And for anybody who wants to truly help Camera X, spread the word, do the reshares. Again, check us out on Tubi. And if you have an actual account, if you could hit that thumbs up, that's great. If you could also hit the thumbs up on the trailer on YouTube and even just drop any comment whatsoever. All comments are always answered. But that helps the YouTube algorithm, they'll be like, hey, yeah, push this more forward. Our trailer did take off pretty good. We like to keep that momentum going. So Other than that, if anybody's interested in seeing the Dark Military, that's also free on Tubi. Pennsylvania Hardcore is free on my channel on YouTube. Pennsylvania Hardcore, Director's Upload, and Dark Military Rogue's also free for Dark Military, free on YouTube. And also, I kind of have like anything you see on my YouTube page, anybody wants to take a clip and use it, feel free. And if anybody ever wants to upload Dark Military Rogue, I'll send you the file, like a public domain movie if you want. Like just you could add. Feel free to add that up.
Nice.
Open source.
Yeah, well, I can put that on Mosh Shinobi for you. Gladly do that. And Pennsylvania. Well, anything, whatever you want me to put on there.
I think you have PA Hardcore up, Gaz. If you still have, or you have the trailer. I think
I have the trailer. But yeah, there definitely.
You just got to remember if you're going to upload PA Hardcore, which I don't care if anybody does at this point. But you got to realize you're going to get flagged by a lot of music. You're going to get like copyright. You're not going to get page taken away, but like it's going to be like don't expect anything, but expect a lot of them because there's a lot of music in it.
Check out Rogue on PXF as well as the Camera X and Rogue trailer. Like and sub all of those. I was supposed to ask you offline, Loren, are we still shooting for Blu-rays for Camera X? Or are we still working?
I'm going to in time. I'm also got an actual. I'll let everyone know. I got an actual artwork for a VHS. I might try. I got
an help on VHSs. Get at me on that behind the scenes. We'll talk.
Ross, I'll send you the artwork for the box, but it's cool. I didn't ask for it. The guy that made all the promotional posters, just like, hey, I got a surprise for it. He showed me. I was like, so I might go in reverse. I might release the VHS. Cool. I'm with it. I got the perfect guy that has a million. My friend Tom, if you hear this, is probably going to be on you, but he's got like 20 VCRs, 20 DVDs. Like he'd be like, "Oh yeah, no problem. They're ready in 6 hours from now."
Amazing, dude. One thing before we get out of here, our audience put us on to, like, you guys know, I'm a They Live fanatic. I think you know, Loren. They dropped like those 500 copies of like the Obey VHS, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome! I'm definitely gonna get one of those, dude." They sold out in like a day for what?
Yeah, no surprise, man.
I was finally gonna buy a VHS. By the time I even searched, it was gone. But if those ever get back in the circuit, I'm all over that. So
fast story, quick. Speaking of They Live, they were Keith David and Roddy Piper. This is obviously a while back, but they were guests at Monster Mania, and they did their Q&A together, and it was a riot, and it was crazy because I don't think Rowdy never saw the actual like Jimmy versus Timmy fight. And at the end, they were going to play that, and they ran out of time. But like, I almost got to witness them two watch the Jimmy versus Timmy.
That would have been okay. So hilarious story. Even though I'm like a massive Carpenter, Rowdy, They Live fanboy, the way I actually found out about the film was from the South Park Cripple fight, because I was just watching back when I watched TV. Look, I don't even have a subscription to TV anymore, but it was one of those shows, just like, you know, breaking things down. And it was like the fight choreography. And obviously, like, I was a South Park fanatic ever since season 1. And I'm looking at Timmy and Jimmy, and I'm looking at the David Piper fight, and I'm like, I see they match the choreography, but I'm like, what movie is that? What movie is that? And then eventually someone sent me that clip of you know, the awake scene, Piper, you know, putting on the shades and looking at the subliminals. But then I started to say, okay, that's like the subliminal symbol scene from They Live. And then I figured out it was the movie with that same fight scene. And I was like, what?
I still say, as much as that fight's amazing, the last line Rowdy says to him before they fight to kind of steal the show is like, you put those glasses on or start eating that trash.
Eating out of that trash can. Like, dude, I was like the way you guys did a Saturday night thing, the way me and, you know, my former group member Mac knows, so he's actually our other third host, Mac. You know, we used to be in this rap group, Gorilla Line.
Saturday night thing, yes.
The Saturday night light thing. The one thing that we wanted to do was recreate that Piper David fight with me and Mac. Like, have me throw the wig on and be Piper, and just for that short film for YouTube. Like, there's no They Live fan films on the tube. It's got to be that fight scene. You know?
Perfect track to go with that. I know there was the Dope Amni vid, but that joint you did with Kin Ibis, that would have gone perfect with that.
Oh, for the music video, just me and Matt dressed up as They Live.
Yeah, I would have gone perfect.
We did a whole mixtape, Lauren, where I was the hobo from Hobo with a Shotgun, and Mac was Machete. So we were the two characters, it was like a grindhouse theme.
I got to see Hobo with a Shotgun before everybody else. I saw a special screening of that in Philly.
I love that.
My friend Josh Goldblum used to get films way before everybody else. Like, I got to see like Deathgasm and a whole bunch of other good stuff. But by the way, Josh has been he doesn't do that anymore. He's a producer. He did the last 2 or 3 VHS series. He's the producer on that. Yeah,
nice.
Good for him.
So, I'll say this quick before we wrap it up, Lauren. So, if we get this The Wanderers review scheduled at some point, do you want to join us for that, Lauren?
I will. You tell me the date.
Since we owe you,
I will sit at the computer.
We'll get it in advance.
I will sit at this computer months in advance waiting for that.
He's not going to leave from the interview now until we do that. Really, Lauren is one place.
I will just keep ordering food. That's how much I love the Wanderers.
For sure. Absolutely. Good stuff, guys. Well, you guys know where to find Lauren at this point. Of course, like, sub, share. I'll probably pull you out for a second, Lauren. We'll do a quick outro, and if you want to stay on, we can chat.
Yes, I would love to chat. So, audience, thanks for the time to listen to my world. Please give the support, and I regardless, I value all for taking your time to check this out.
Awesome, definitely. Man. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Lauren, man.
You got.
That's our guy. Go check the PA Hardcore Director's Upload on his channel. Of course, the Camera X trailer on my channel, on his channel, the PA Hardcore trailer on Gaz's channel. Hopefully you get the full doc up on there, guys. Just watch up for those band tags. Okay. As always, you guys know what we're promoting. I've said it 4 or 5 times, but I feel like it's not too difficult because we're not telling you to sign up for any subscription or pay any money, which is what every channel is doing on YouTube and every other website. So you literally go to we're going to reiterate it one more time, guys, for the people who didn't join at the beginning. You go to Tubi. You can literally sign in one click with your Gmail, or you can, if you have some other email, you put it in on your TV. It sends you the sign up link and you one click sign up. From there, you can watch list Camera X to KAP file. You can watch list Dark Military. If you drop it a like and watch list, that helps us in the recommendations, getting bumped up to a trending film. Obviously, like and share the trailer on YouTube, like Lauren was saying. Give a sub to Average Superstar TV would be ideal. You can give a sub to Mosh Shinobi if you're feeling saucy. Me and Gaz will definitely have some streams going on. I've gotten a few more subs on Twitch. twitch.tv/PlanetXGames. So I'll have some like retro streams of Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War and just whatever retro shooters playing at the time. Toxic Crusaders got pushed back to 2026. So when that drops, me and Gaz will be on there. going ham, maybe some Cosmic Evasion, depending on if we're still feeling saucy, always some martial arts stuff. You guys have heard the schedule. Next week is John Wick Chapter 2. We'll fill you guys in on the latest John Wick news, which there is some things going down, and then a Clockwork Orange end of the month, and we'll hit you guys starting with March. We're going to do Highlander 1, and then we'll hit you guys with the March schedule. But basically, we're just pushing Camera X right now, and like, sub, and share. Did put in some work on editing the next episode of the main series, Zodiac Files Episode 5, the Lake Herman Road Ambush. Honestly, if you ask me what's up with it, I'm just going to tell you to go watch Camera X and give us your review on IMDb until I have an actual review. So, like, hey, Ross, how's episode 5 and 6 going? They're going great. Did you watch Camera X yet? And what did you think of the film? That's the best way you can help us out. Like I said, almost all options are free. You can like the channel for free. You can subscribe for free. Obviously, if you want to join for a membership, there's 3 tiers. It's not free, but you will get 24-hour early access to episode 5 and 6 of the main series. We've got the Patreon. Me and Gaz got to get back in our Most Dangerous Game bag, but that will be happening with Deadliest Prey and some of those other new remakes. So that's what's going on now, guys. Just tune in with us next week for John Wick Chapter 2. And then, like we said, we'll be back with Clockwork Orange. So shout out to Loren. Shout out to the whole Average Superstar crew, cast and crew of Camera X. Everybody who's been bringing on Loren for podcasts and interviews to cover the film. If anybody wants to get me on, granted, I wasn't on set with Loren, so significantly less detail in terms of production and editing. But if you just want to talk about the script process and what Loren and I were doing for a production perspective, open to that as well. That's that. Technically Paradigm Review Show, though we didn't technically review the film for you, but we told you a lot about it. So you guys go watch the film, you go review it on IMDb for us, and join us next week for John Wick Chapter 2, my favorite in the series. And other than that, like, sub, and share. You can subscribe Gaz at Moshinobi. You can subscribe Loren at Average Superstar TV. Click a join button if you want a membership, like I said, and with that, we're out. But best thing you guys can do for us is, if you want to leave your reviews in my comments in the community section or on the trailer here on my channel or on Loren's channel, whatever, just like the film, review it, let us know what you think. That's kind of what we're going for right now, guys. With that, we're going to bounce out, but come rock with us next week for John Wick Chapter 2. That should be sick.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Shout out to Loren again. Awesome to chat to you as always. And thanks, everybody, for supporting. Take care, everybody. See you next time. Peace.
Forgot to mention it. The perfect time to have Loren Lepre on, but right between Friday the 13th and President's Day. He's a big political history guy. So that was a perfect slot for you, Loren. All right, guys. Catch us next time. Tune in next week. John Wick Chapter 2. We're out. Like, sub, share.